What's up? What's going on? Keep pounding nation. Welcome to another Carolina Panthers Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the YouTube the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ, Jason Ingram. First off, I want to say that I want to encourage everybody to continue to keep me in your prayers. Haven't recovered from losing my voice, but hopefully I will get there soon. It's been about a day or so. But gonna press my way through in the name of Jesus. But anyway, I wanted to take an opportunity to get on here and talk about the breaking news that was confirmed earlier today, as it has been official. Quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, has been benched. He is no longer QB1. Now enter in Andy Dalton as the new QB1 going forward. All right. So, I know a lot of people may have their reservations about Andy Dalton, which I understand. Andy Dalton definitely is not the Andy Dalton that he used to be. I mean, this is somebody that was a 3-time Pro Bowler. The last Pro Bowl that he won, that he earned, was back in 2016, which is pretty much a year after Carolina last went to the Super Bowl. Now, Andy Dalton, who is our current backup quarterback, but now has been elevated to QB1. All right. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that, Andy Dalton got a chance to start one game last year with the Carolina Panthers when we went up against the Seattle Seahawks. That was in week 3 of last year, which unfortunately resulted in a 10-point loss. Final score was 37-27. But Andy Dalton had a really good game. He was 34-58, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did get sacked 3 times, but still played a pretty dang on good game. Not to mention, we didn't even have any turnovers that game. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk on, Andy Dalton not really doing too well in practice and whatnot. I know he's been dealing with a little bit of a nagging injury. But I think we can all at least agree on the idea that having a veteran like Andy Dalton step in is going to at least give us a little bit more of a chance to win some games. Now, however many that may be remains to be seen. But I think we can all agree that putting in Andy Dalton is going to at least give us a better chance of winning a game or 2 or 3 or 4 or however many. I'm not saying that we're just going to go on this big winning streak. I'm not going to say that we're going to just get enough wins to make the playoffs or win the division or whatnot. But I would at least think that with Andy Dalton as the new QB1 for this offense, which has been a struggling offense, but has the talent, I would think we should be able to get a few wins, at least. Hopefully. And if not that, at least see the offense improve to a degree. That's what I'm hopeful for. Because, I understand, Andy Dalton's not the Andy Dalton that he used to be, But this is still a veteran quarterback. This is a 14-year veteran. You know, this isn't somebody that is just dumb and doesn't know what he's doing. This is a 14-year veteran. Just like his number 14. But yeah, he's a 14-year veteran. So at least he has some sense of the game. Not to mention, let's see, the last near full season that he played was in 2022 with the Saints. And I have to say, not too bad. 14 games played, 66.7 completion percentage, threw for 2,871 yards, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I mean, you would think that on a good season, on a decent season, and Andy Dalton would be capable to at least give you 15 to 20 touchdowns in a year. So, just something to think about. And then, when you think about it, you look back to the last time he went to the Pro Bowl was 2016 when he was with the Bengals. He threw for 4,206 yards that season and 18 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So when it comes to touchdowns to interceptions, very similar to his time with the Saints. He just threw 1 interception more. That's the only difference. He did get sacked more at that year, but still. My thing is, I think it's at least safe to say that Andy Dalton can help get this offense going. More so than Bryce Young. Now, a couple of things. Number one, how much of a say did David Tepper have in this decision? Because I'm sure him and Dave Canellis, or maybe him, Dave Canellis, and Dan Morgan may have met up about this. But regardless, I give Dave Canellis credit for going with this. Even though he said Bryce Young is the quarterback, he at least understands, hey, we need to win. Therefore, we need to put this team in the best position to win. And that includes making any necessary changes to help with that. And this is a big one. This is a big one. So, kudos to Dave Canellis and company on making that move. Now, unfortunately for Bryce Young, couple of questions. Number one, is he a bust? Number two, are his days in Carolina over now that he's been benched? Could Bryce Young go elsewhere and be more successful? So, going back to that first question, is Bryce Young a bust? I hate to say it, but it's looking that way. It's looking that way, at least for Carolina. Because there's a number of things that you got to factor in. Number one, look at all that was done. Look at all that was done to get Bryce Young. The trades, the getting the letting go of DJ Moore, the letting go of first and second round draft picks. I mean, like, we traded a handful of draft picks with the Chicago Bears and gave up our best receiver in DJ Moore, who we had just extended. And we got to remember, Bryce Young is on a rookie contract worth $37.9 million, fully guaranteed. And we have to remember, we originally had the 9th overall pick in the first round. And the point that I'm making, saying all of this, is we are not getting an equal amount of return with Bryce Young. All that we traded to get Bryce Young, which I do understand, we could have had any quarterback. We moved up to the number 1. We could have had any quarterback. I'm not disputing that. But because Carolina drafted Bryce Young, which he was going to get drafted, whether it's be by us or somebody else, but somebody was going to draft him. Let's keep it real. But fact of the matter is, we're not getting an equal amount of return on this investment. The investing of trading away our best receiver in DJ Moore and a handful of draft picks to Chicago for Bryce Young, we're not getting an equal return with him. And that's just plain and simple as that. So, and a lot are saying that this is not only the dumbest decision that the Carolina Panthers have ever made in franchise history, but also we may have just drafted the worst quarterback in all of history. And I know there's a lot of arguments for folks like Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, Jimmy Clausen. But you gotta put Bryce Young in that category. I hate to say it, but you have to really consider putting Bryce Young in that category with what he's been able to do. Now, here's the thing. Has Bryce Young been given a fair shot? Can we really, really say that Bryce Young has been given a fair shot, especially in that first year? Because I truly don't believe he had been given a fair shot in his rookie year. I don't. Because the O-line wasn't as good as it is now, and the weapons weren't really living up to what they could have been doing, especially Miles Sanders, DJ Chark, some of the other receivers, Terrace Marshall, Shi Smith, many others, so I don't think Bryce was ultimately dealt the type of hand that really could have helped him to be successful. But at the end of the day, you have to do your part. You have to do your part. And with this new season, Bryce Young hadn't been doing his part. It sucks. I think his confidence is shot. And I get it. I get it. I just think it's going to be, now that he's been benched, I think it's going to be really hard for him to bounce back with this team in particular. Now, don't get me wrong. I think he could go elsewhere and he gets another shot. I do believe he will get another shot elsewhere. I think that's very possible. But as far as with Carolina, unless Andy Dalton were to get hurt, I don't see it. I think it just may be over in Carolina for Bryce Young. Unless Andy Dalton gets injured. And the whole thing with that is, I mean, I'm sure after this season, which Andy Dalton's contract will be up, he might end up retiring. I think that's a possibility. But it's, I don't know. I just feel like it may be easy for folks to say, hey, you know, we're going to be drafting a quarterback in the next draft. That might not necessarily be the best idea. That might not be the best idea. Because here's the issue. Let's keep it real. The defense has regressed. Yeah, the defense has definitely regressed. So we have to think that we're going to need to upgrade the defense as well. Especially considering we've got guys on this team that have only signed 1 year, maybe 2 year contracts, very short term contracts. So there's going to be a lot of holes to fill, and there's going to be some folks that contracts are ending this season on the defense. So, I mean, not to mention when you look at potential first round quarterbacks or whatnot in next year's draft, I mean, what is it? Carson Beck, maybe Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders. I mean, Denzel Burke. I mean, would y'all really use a first round pick on either of those guys? In all honesty, would you? I don't know. I think we'll definitely have to look at quarterback. But at the same time, we might want to build up other pieces first and then seal the deal with quarterback at a later time. Something to think about. That might be something to think about. Now, the only thing I can say is hopefully with Andy Dalton starting that he can help get this offense going, because lately receivers have been getting open. Bryce Young has missed them or hasn't found them when they're open. So hopefully Andy Dalton can do that. But you know something? Being that this is 2 games into the season, I think David Tepper, the owner, I think he's gotten to the realization, maybe he's gotten to the realization of, you know what? I think I made a mistake campaigning for Bryce Young to get drafted by us. I think I should have kept my mouth shut, let Frank Wright get the guy he wanted. Because that's something to think about, y'all. In all seriousness, I know a lot of us really dogged out Frank Wright. But you have to admit, we are seeing some of the same stuff now under a different coaching staff when it comes to Bryce Young. So maybe, just maybe it really wasn't all Frank Wright. I'm just saying, maybe it really wasn't all Frank Wright. I'm not going to say that he didn't make his mistakes. He certainly did. But we really haven't seen anything different with Bryce Young this season. His best game was the Green Bay game last year. And it is kind of sad because we didn't even win that game. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a long season. We got the Raiders next. I think we got a shot. I think we do have a shot. Some things need to be fixed, even with the defense. But I do think we have a shot. Because even in that Chargers game, I mean, we got 2 takeaways, a fumble recovery and an interception. So there were some positive moments from the defense. They didn't give up as many points as the Saints game, but it's still clear that the defense did a better job than the offense in that Chargers game. But when it's so bad that former Panther Bradley Bozeman was saying, don't let the score fool you. Yeah, we won, but it was a very one-sided game. Y'all, that's not good. That's not good. He's literally saying it was so easy. So easy. That's from Bradley Bozeman himself, who used to play for us. He said it was that easy. Now, like I said, Bryce was only one of the problems because it wasn't all Bryce. It's not all Bryce. And I will continue to say it's not all Bryce. He's one of the issues, but we still got the defense, still got the play calling, the offense in general. Still a lot to be fixed. But we'll see what happens. Andy Dalton's the new QB1 for the foreseeable future. I think it's over for Bryce Young as far as Carolina. Like I said, the only exception is if Andy Dalton gets hurt. Then, yeah, they would put him back in. The only thing that I would consider for Bryce Young, if we get to the point this season where we are officially eliminated from playoff contention, then throw Bryce Young back in there, let him finish. I would be okay with that. Put him back in, let him finish. Because there's no point if we're eliminated from playoff contention, just go ahead and put Bryce Young back in there, let him learn, let him finish. I would be okay with that. But I gotta at least give Mr. Tepper a little bit of credit because I think a big part of me feels like he got to the point where it's like, you know what? Do what y'all gotta do. I think I made a mistake. And you know what? It's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit that. I just feel like, I myself believed in Bryce. I wanted him to get a fair shot this year, as I'm sure many others did. But once again, to keep it real with y'all, I think we've been tricked. I feel bad for the kid. I really do. I feel bad for him because this was somebody that was successful in college. But it's not translating to the NFL right now. It's not translating. I feel like the best that can happen for him is maybe he gets a fresh start elsewhere. That's the best. I truly believe that can happen to him. Other than that, if Andy Dalton gets hurt, then he would step back in. So, we'll see what happens, but those are my thoughts. I look forward to doing the preview of the matchup with the Raiders, which, you know, I think we got a chance, but let's also keep in mind, we haven't beaten the Raiders in a very, very long time. Like, we didn't even beat the Raiders when we had Cam. So, just a thought. But, looking forward to doing that preview for week 3. But, yeah, that's all I got. But, Andy Dalton. Out with the Bryce Young, in with the Andy Dalton. Let's see how we do with a 14-year veteran. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Don't forget to check out Game Beauty. Link is in the description. Don't forget to use that promo code BlitzBall_champ for 10% off of your order of some awesome video game themed makeup and cosmetic products. And let me know how y'all feel. Let me know how y'all feel about the decision made to bench Bryce Young and make Andy Dalton the new starting quarterback. Do you think this is going to help turn the offense around? Do you think Carolina will start getting some wins? Do you agree with the decision? Is Bryce Young a bust? Is it over for Bryce Young? Let me know how y'all are feeling. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Do keep me in your prayers for my voice. This has been another Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Keep pounding, and I will see y'all in the next video and or live stream. Peace.